If you're still standing there.
A lot of people say you should never work with animals or children. You've obviously worked with both. I remember Malik Whitfield said that he's more scared of children now after he sort of got murdered and everything like that. I was just wondering what was worse, what was better, any scary stories?
Well, Malik Whitfield or children?
That's a no-brainer. I think that saying is probably going from just the fact of there's a lot of limitations that come with working with children and animals. But children can't work past a certain amount of time, so that really throws the whole production schedule off. So it just makes it more difficult on everybody involved. It's not the children themselves. I mean, there's brilliant.
It might be. Of course,
yeah. Not saying that that's never the case, but a lot of it is just the laws that protect children from working 16 hours, whereas they can make us work 20 hours if they want, whereas them it's what 10?
It's
10 hours. So for a show that's constantly doing anywhere from 12 to 16 hour days, to make sure that they get everything they need with that kid, get him out by his time, really kind of throws a wrench in the whole system. So for me, that's why it's difficult to work with kids and animals.
I want to talk about it.
You want to talk about a scene?
We'll talk about it in Vancouver because it hasn't come out yet.
You can talk about that. You can prep them.
Okay, well, there's a scene where
don't give anything. It's a scene in a field with young Sam.
there's a scene in a field with young Sam. Young Sam is not 18 years old yet, so you can only
Colin.
Colin, exactly.
Colin. And Colin's absolutely great. In fact, talk about somebody who has an excitement for what he does and an absolute passion for being on set and doing this. I mean, I was there. I'll give you a little so you don't have to. It was. No, he wasn't there obviously because it was young Sam, but I was doing a scene with young Sam, and and Colin had hit his cutoff, and he couldn't work anymore, and he was visibly upset. He wanted to continue to work because they weren't done shooting with him, and. So what happened was they had to bring in somebody who was of age, who was 18 years old. Well, but still looked like a young boy. And there's no guy that's 18 years old that they could get that looked like a young boy. So they got a young girl
to play young Sam.
To play young Sam. They got an 18-year-old girl to play, 10-year-old Sam.
To play like 10-year-old Sam, they had to go with an 18-year-old.
And needless to say, she wasn't the most masculine person for it. And they had to reshoot it.
Yeah, they did.
They had to reshoot that series of shots because it was so feminine.
Because obviously it could be on her face, but she wore Sam's clothes, young Sam's clothes.
And it was on her back.
Yeah. But she moved like an 18-year-old girl, which she was. So, I mean, you can't blame her for doing what she did. She was playing a boy.
But I just remember looking over at the crew and everybody was just like, I can't wait for Jared to see this.
I got to work the next day and they were like, what do you think about the younger version of it?
Have you seen the dailies?
And I was like, Colin's great. Like, Colin's been here for years. Awesome. Like, no, Colin reached his cutoff last night. What?
So anyway, that kind of, proves the kind of difficulty that can.
And then things like if a child has 12 hours of work to shoot, but they can only shoot for 8 hours, then we have to shoot them out. And so there'll be a scene. There'll be, let's say, 3 2-page scenes. We do the first one, we do the second one, but we can't get our coverage of it until we shoot them out. So then we'll go back, and Jensen and I will be with pieces of tape honestly, pieces of tape or like a tennis ball on a stand.
So it's not the children themselves, it's the work laws.
How about the animals?
Animals, now animals, it can be difficult to work with because even though they're trained, and a lot of them are brilliantly trained, they can hit a mark better than most actors we work with. But sometimes they get a sniff of something, or they don't want to do what the trainer's telling them to do, and so it can be 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 takes later before we finally got the dog to like put its paw up, or
In
whatever it might
in
be.
the same episode, actually, that we see young Sam, a kid actor, we also see a golden retriever who was a brilliantly trained golden retriever. And when the trainer would be like up, down, right, leave me the New York Times, they would do it. The thing is that dogs respond to a trainer. So,
And now you're trying to train.
job. Then and I love dogs, and luckily I kind of love dogs. I think the dog understood that, and I kind of am used to trying to train. But it's tough. It's tough because they want to look to their trainer to go like, instead of looking at me and doing what I say, they're looking at the trainer going like, well, what do you think? And so, so on camera, their face is obviously doing this number. And so, but they need the dog to look straight at you.
A lot of time, I mean, you look at movies and television, anytime there's like a dog, you can see them maybe just looking over the actor's shoulder or just looking off camera this way. It's because they're looking at their trainer who's like, don't move. Don't look at me, don't look at me. So, there was one movie that I was really impressed was the Will Smith version of I Am Legend. And that dog, the dog in that movie, I thought, I don't think I ever saw that dog looking at off camera. It was always looking at Will Smith, which I was like, he put in some hours with that dog. And I think he actually did, because I read an article, he was like, he was trying to do everything he could to keep that dog after the shoot, but that dog made that trainer so much money that he was like, all right, this is my cash cow, are you kidding me? So there you go, I hope that helps. You're welcome.
Hello again, Jensen, Jared, hi.
Hi.
Jensen, I'd like to ask you something.
Oh, come on.
Sorry. So sorry. No, I'm a psychotherapist, and the patient...
Oh, yeah, and you can... I get it.
Don't be mean to co-star.
I got you.
Good, I need to talk to somebody about my co-star.
Go ahead. No, I'd like to know, the patients in my care mostly are really traumatized people who have been through war and torture. And what I'm constant awe about when I watch you play those scenes, when Dean talks about his flashbacks and what he went through in hell, etc. I see that on an everyday basis, exactly. The body language and the flickering in the eyes and all that. I would like to ask you, how do you do that? Did you consult with people who actually were there and who had experienced something like that? Or did you ask therapists, psychologists, whoever? How do you get there to play this?
I would love to be able to say that, yeah, we did tons of research and, we sat with therapists, and I think if this was, Supernatural, the movie, that we may have had the liberty of doing that. But we just don't have time, so we really got to just put ourselves in that situation, think about how we would react, and think about how that would affect us in our later life. And I think that's just part of being an actor, is you have to believe. Yeah, you have to make believe. And so I wish that I could say, well, this stems from this experience that I had or this conversation with this, but it's really just us doing our best to recreate what we think would happen if we were there.
I think actors also, to answer Jensen's question. But I think actors, and I can only speak as an actor because I'm an actor, and maybe everybody's like this, but I think actors remember things from their life. Like maybe you saw a documentary maybe you saw Ken Burns' World War II documentary, and you pick things up. Like I think writers, I've known writers for years, and every now and again they'll say something and go like, 1 second. And like we're watching a game or something, and they're like, I like the way that sounded. And they'll like pick up a little pad and write it. And I think actors do that with reactions and emotions. Yeah, they'll take mental notes of like, oh, look at the way the guy is sort of talking about it. Like he almost seems distracted, or he almost seems scared, even though he's like in a doctor's office and the war was 30 years ago. So I think it's kind of maybe subconsciously happened over the last years of life.
Well, it's incredibly authentic, and really have a huge respect for that because you do it really wonderfully. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you very much.
Do you want to talk to me now about that other stuff? Or was that better for later? The
My
psychotherapy
card, you
stuff?
can call me if you have
Is that all right?
any
Yeah,
stuff, just call me.
thank you.